Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Innovation Alley. We're your hosts. I'm TowelManPurple.
I'm Bjorn.
And today we have brought two different decks to explode in some excitement right here for Set Champs. So I'll kick us
Absolutely.
off with Rapunzel's Great Escape. It looks, just off the appearance, right off the bat, it looks like something that Bjorn would have created because it is fairly similar,
Yeah.
right?
I was gonna say, have you stolen my deck or something?
No. I mean, there's quite a few similarities in some of the card
Hmm.
selections, but as we scroll to the bottom, you'll see that there's quite a few differences.
There. The
All right,
signature TowelManPurple style of having like 20 locations, because why not, right?
love it, love it. All right, so we have for Daisy. Once again, every time that I discuss this card, the most aggressive card in the deck, and in Amber, it's a 1/4 for 1 quest for 2. Can't get enough of it. Sets up Rapunzel traps. Just love the card, right? And
That's
then
super
if
nice.
you're in Amethyst, right, why not play the one drops that allow you the ability of having a replacement effect, right? Drawing cards, something we love to do. So we have the full lineup for Chernobog followers, the 2/1 for 1, for Diablo, the 0/1 for 1, and for Broom, the 1/2 for 1, right? So followers, you get to banish after you quest to draw, Diablo draws when it's banished, and Broom you can banish once another character has been played to draw. So all of them getting you the draw effect, you know, do with that as you will. They're just very important pieces in the game. Now, something very, very unique in the 2-drop slot. We have 4 copies of Magic Carpet. It is a 2/1 that quests for 1, and it's an evasive. Now, it also says if you exert it, you can move a character of yours from to a location for free. So move a character of yours to a location.
Very
Right?
good.
Then we have Raja. 2 cost 3/3. Just a great static character, kind of like Smee. The only difference is Raja only quests for 1. Okay? We have, in our 3 drops, we have 4 Merlin Crab. 3/3, and it gives another character Challenger 3 upon entry and upon departure. So the card is just really, really good at helping you challenge. Then, of course, one of Bjorn's favorites, the 4-cost, Uninkable Pascal. It's a 3/3, it quests for 3, it does everything that you ever wanted. It's just a very aggressive card, and it puts a lot of lore pressure on the board. Okay? Then we have 4 of the iconic Amber card in the game, Rapunzel. It's a 1/5, quest for 2, and also gives you the ability of drawing. So you can remove up to 3 damage and draw up to 3 cards using this card. And in the 5-drop slot, we have 4 5-cost Bell, which allows you to transfer up to 3 damage from one character to another. She's a 4/4, quest for 2, just a great character overall. She does shift for 3, but there's no shift targets for us, so that's just a little less relevant. And then to wrap up the characters, we also have 5-drop Elsa, the 2/5 with evasive and rush. When it comes into play, you exert a character of your opponents, and that's probably meant for having a profitable challenge right there. Now to the spiciness of the deck. We have 4 Rapunzel towers to help create more Rapunzel traps. We have 4 Sugar Rush Speedway. Now, I know at the very beginning when that card came out, everyone wanted to break it in Ruby Amber because the Speedways kind of collaborated very well together. There was a lot of uninkability going on with those decks, and it just wasn't. It just was missing just a pinch, right? It just wasn't enough to get over the hump.
Yeah.
So here we have these locations, and it's a different perspective, right? So we'll get back to touching Speedway in a moment, but we also have 4 copy of Library. It's an 8 willpowered, just like Rapunzel's Tower. It costs 1 to move, just like Tower and Queen's Castle. So it's really easy to get to these locations for the most part. And Library also helps you draw cards when your characters are banished. Now, Queen's Castle, it's a 4-cost. This one gets 2 lore pips instead of 1, like Library, and it draws cards equal to the amount of characters on the castle when it's the beginning of your turn. Now, its willpower is 7, just like the Speedway. However, the Speedway says whenever you have a character move to this location from another, right? You can banish this location to gain 3 lore and draw 3 cards. So, yes, there is the possibility of being able to pay 6 and move it from one of the other locations to this location. Yes, it could leave that location vulnerable by playing it out there. But if you're leaving the location vulnerable, you're probably allowing yourself extra questing periods to get extra lore through to try to win the game. But we also have that little tricky card up there called Magic Carpet, which, for example, if, I don't know, let's say turn, let's find the right turn. Let's say turn 5 is probably the best turn that you can do something. If you have Carpet in play, you can literally play Speedway and a tower in the same turn, move the Carpet to the tower, and then use the Carpet's ability to move itself to the Speedway, and you can trigger the same turn. Obviously, that's a lot to do, but that is some way to trigger it, make it happen. There are multitude ways of it happening. You just really want to make sure that you have characters out. You're still playing the game as normal. Obviously, Rapunzel's Tower is just something really, really good against the steel meta that we're currently in. And we still have also an Amethyst meta that we're dealing with, which, as long as the opponent's side of the field is not threatening banishing the tower, then it's probably safe to play the tower, right? And when I say threatening, you also have to keep in consideration cards in their hand that could do things, right? Like they could sandbag a crab, as an example. So you want to make sure that it's really clear to do some of these moves when you're going against these Amethyst decks. But overall, this is something right off the old block of a Bjornfot special with a little twist of some TMP, right? We're trying to get the best we can and trying to make this Speedway work, because I really want this card to work and be good. We've always wanted it, so we're testing it out again. There you have it for Rapunzel's Great Escape. We're going to move on over to the Bjornfot special with a Ruby Steel Shark deck. Bjorn, take us away.
Right, so a bit light on the low drops here. We have Mulan and Robin Hood, who are simply there for their shift potentials. We have Calhoun and Doc, is pretty good Steve cards in general. Then we've got an interesting card, Fashu, I believe it's pronounced. Whenever one of your characters challenges another character, if it's the second challenge this turn, gain 3 lore. I think that one is interesting, because you will be doing a lot of challenging in this deck, so it's probably not that difficult to just get those 3 lore every single turn that your opponent decides to turn their character sideways, letting you challenge them.
I agree.
I think also, 4 Pete is like a must right now. There are so many actions going around. It's so nice to just play a Pete and be like, nope, no actions, thank you. Then Goofy, Super Goof. I think he's great because he is, of course, a rush character, but also you gain lore just from challenging. So it fits this deck perfectly. And then we have Mushu, which synergizes with the exact same thing, right? We have just challenging is the name of the game here. And every time we challenge, if we have Mushu out on the board, the challenger gets 2 resist, and if we banish the opposing character, we also get 2 lore. So, Mushu is a very, very good card, I think. Especially if you have, a lot of challengers, a lot of rushers. We have Queen of Hearts. Just a couple of those. I think she draws a card whenever you challenge something. You get to draw a card as long as she's out, so she's also like a alternate drawing potential. And we have, of course, the Shift Robin Hood. I think he is great. since again we are all about both challenging and getting lore, and that's exactly what he does. Just like Calhoun, he challenges and gets lore at the same time.
Right.
And of course, we have a couple Maui Sharks here, because he can get back actions from the discard pile. We have a lot of actions. We actually have 20 actions in this deck. Only 40 characters, 20 actions in this deck. So he can definitely grab a little bit of whatever. We have a lot of different actions actually. And of course, gain a lore every time we play an action also is pretty good. There's actually an action down there that pairs very well with him called Fan the Flames, which says ready chosen character. So you challenge with Maui Half Shark, and then you grab Fan the Flames from the discard pile, and then you play Fan the Flames to ready Maui Half Shark, then Fan the Flames go to the discard pile, and then you challenge something else with Maui Half Shark, and then you take Fan the Flames back from the discard pile, and you see where this is going.
The never-ending story.
Yeah, but also, any other of the many actions we have, you can bring back. We'll take a look at the actions a little bit later, but first, I'm just addressing the two different shift Mulans, right? We have the classic one, the Elite Archer, which can take down 3 characters in one single challenge, which is pretty good. And then we have the new one, which does cost 7 raw, but it's still only shift 5. So they are both shift 5. And this one has evasive. And also, when you challenge something with this card, all of your other characters can challenge ready characters this turn. So let's say that you first challenge something with Mulan, so that then your Maui Half Shark can challenge the opponent's ready characters.
Dirty.
And you got a scary thing going, especially if you got the Fan the Flames. Imagine opponent's like, oh, well, I'm not gonna quest. You have Maui Shark. You got 5 ready characters. Well, if Maui Shark can challenge ready characters, you can just clean the whole board. But yeah, for the actions, the Fan the Flames, as I said, ready characters, super good, especially when brought back with Shark. Fire the Cannons is a classic. Deal 2 damage to chosen character, especially good as a turn 1 or a turn 2 play. Just slowing the game down a little bit so you have time to play your bigger cards. We have a lot of songs, although I don't think we will be singing them too much. I think most of the time we can actually just hard cast them in this deck. But Go the Distance is the same thing as Fan the Flames, except it costs 1 more, but you do get to draw a card also, so that's nice. Let the Storm Rage On. It deals 2 damage and draws a card. It's a steel staple. I think any steel deck needs Let the Storm Rage On, especially this one that, it doesn't have super much card draw. We don't have Amethyst or anything, so we need the card draw. We need Storm. One Last Hope is a very interesting action. It gives resist +2 to any character, and if that character is also a hero, it can challenge ready characters this turn. Maui Half Shark is a hero, so if you play with One Last Hope on Maui Half Shark, it can suddenly challenge ready characters and has resist +2. So combine that with a Fan the Flames or a Go the Distance, and you'll suddenly just clear the opponent's literally entire board. It's super fun when you manage to get it working. Search for Raging Fire. I think it's just a staple. Even if you only deal 2 or 3 damage, it's still a really good song. A couple Whole New Worlds, because we need some extra card draw. You probably don't always want a Whole New World. This is not like a Whole New World deck, so to say. It just has a couple Whole New Worlds, just like it has a couple docks as alternatives for drawing more cards when you need to. And then lastly, we have just 1 copies each of A Pirate's Life and Be Prepared, because these are cards that I think you maybe most of the time don't really want to play here. This is not a deck that really utilizes those cards. However, I think having one copy can still be useful, because if you have just one copy of Be Prepared in your deck, your opponent still has to respect that. And if they don't, I mean, maybe every other or every third game you draw it and then suddenly win because the opponent completely disrespected that option. Same thing with Pirate's Life, you know. Pirate's Life, you can just suddenly win from nowhere getting 2 extra lore or 4 extra lore if Maui Half Shark gets it back.
Right.
Or, you know, on the opposite end, maybe your opponent's like, oh yeah, I mean, I'll totally win right here. I'll just quest with everything. I don't care about my board state. I'll win next turn, whatever happens. But then you take up a Pirate's Life and suddenly your opponent goes down by 2 lore. So these are, again, they don't really fit the deck, but I still think it's very important to, potentially dangerous to have that as a potential option that you sometimes can draw into.
Yeah, it's a utility piece.
Exactly. And yeah, I mean, that's based on the actions, you know, most of them are two offs, some one offs. So yeah, they are just lots of different actions for utility that you can get back with Maui, Half Shark, and you could even use like the one cost Mulan or Dock or Whole New World to get some of them in your discard pile to begin with as well, so Maui Shark can later fish them up.
Yeah, that's awesome. There you have it. It's like 2 different versions of Ruby Steel compacted into one. All the combo synergy, the hero synergy, the challenging synergy, it's all there. So there you have Bjorn's Ruby Steel Shark deck to go alongside with the Rapunzel's Great Escape. Now, if you're new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button down below and stay up to date on all the content. We gratefully appreciate each and every one of you that come out to these videos, and we would love to hear back from you. So if you see something you like that you don't like, something that you think we can do to add or improve to these decks, or something you want to see on a future episode, let us know. We read all the comments and we reply to them. Until the next one, keep innovating.